Government invests in eye clinic upgrade at the General Hospital. We'll have the details of this story and more in the National Report. Welcome back. With the details of the news for Thursday, January 14th, 2021, I am Sherry Noel. The Ministry of Health takes another step towards providing accessible and affordable health care for all through the upgrade of the eye clinic at the General Hospital. The eye ward has experienced its share of challenges in the past. However, the ministry has used the opportunity to continue procuring appropriate equipment to enhance the quality of service. A hopeful permanent secretary with responsibility for hospital services, Hannah Julian St. Paul, spoke to the GIS about the recent development of the eye ward. She cited the need for decentralization of services at various healthcare facilities through different mediums.
We have recommenced our surgeries and everything there, and as a result, we would be seeing an impact as it relates to eye care within that department. We are also looking forward to our outreach program as it relates to ophthalmology. We have our clinics would be at Princess Alice. We already set up our equipment there. We're looking at Carriacou. So we are trying, as we stated, to decentralize some of our services because we realize when it comes to ophthalmology and eye care, a lot of our elderly seek care at the General Hospital and they have to travel long distances. So we are making every effort to bring the service to our people.
Medical Director at the General Hospital, Dr. Taisha Donnell, said the procurement of the equipment for the eye clinic is needed for quality services.
Really and truly 2020 was a good year for us in terms of equipment, and now we just have to try and improve our human resource in terms of, service to the public, customer service. So those are the other things that we want to work on, and as a matter of priority for 2021, and continue, of course, trying to procure the necessary equipment to improve the services we offer to our population.
Other services such as obstetrics, ophthalmology, and others will also be improved. Moving along, the government of Grenada is urging Grenadians to be vigilant given the detection of an apparent increase in the impersonation of government ministers on social media platforms. This practice is referred to as spoofing, and technology experts define it as the act of disguising communication from an unknown source as coming from a known or trusted source. Government advises that ministers are not in the practice of initiating contact with members of the public via private or direct messages on social media platforms. Ministers will respond to queries submitted by persons via private messages, but will not initiate contact using such means. Further, the public is advised that no government process requires persons to use money transfer agencies to send money to receive any government document or promise of financial assistance. The population is advised to stay alert while using social media and to be aware of scammers. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Protect yourself and our community from COVID-19. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 70% alcohol. Use a tissue when blowing your nose, sneezing, or coughing. Immediately discard the tissue properly and wash or sanitize your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Let's do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. To stay up to date, visit the Government of Grenada's webpage or the Ministry of Health's Facebook page. For more information, contact the Ministry of Health's hotline by calling 53-VIRUS. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back. Her Majesty's Prisons Reformation Center has received 10 desktop computers from the United Arab Emirates. The donation of the computers were made by Dr. Sadir upon the request of the Consul General of Dubai, Roseanne Benjamin. The government and people of Grenada continue to benefit from the Dubai mission in the UAE. So far, over 62 computers have been donated towards primary education. Contributions were also made towards the government's COVID-19 fund, and a shipment of medical supplies is currently on the way to help boost the island's health system. Dr. Sadir said enhancing a person's ability to have a better life and enabling him or her to be productive and positive in society is one of the ideal goals that everyone should contribute towards. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Roxy McLeach Hutchinson, said for years prison reformation has been high on the government's agenda. She is pleased that the inmates now have the opportunity to use technology to assist in their reintegration into society.
Having been tasked previously with the responsibility for preparing Grenada's human rights national reports to the United Nations Human Rights Council, one of the recommendations that we have received repeatedly over the last 15 years, which is a 3-cycle period, has been efforts to have prison reform at Her Majesty's Prison. The government has, on all 3 occasions, through all 3 reports, accepted that recommendation from the international community, and we as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has pledged our support to the Ministry of National Security and to the authorities here at Her Majesty's Prison to support that initiative and the plans and programs aimed at meeting that recommendation. So it is really a proud moment for us at the Ministry, through our representative at the UAE, to be able to assist in bringing to fruition the request for computers to aid in the implementation of the reform program here at Her Majesty's Prison.
The computers were handed over to Acting Commissioner of Prisons, Damian Lee.
We trust that at the end of the day, that these items will be put to the perfect use so that our inmates will be rehabilitated and be in a better position to be sound citizens of our country.
And finally in the news, the teachers who are in charge of the Happy Hill Pre-Primary and Brizan Pre-Primary Schools say they are ready to take up duties at the newly constructed $1.8 million Happy Hill Brizan Pre-Primary School at Bushiju, St. George. The institution that will see the merging of the 2 pre-primary schools was constructed under the 9th BNTF project, funded in part by the Caribbean Development Bank and the Government of Grenada. Abigail Richard Cador is the teacher in charge of the Happy Hill Pre-Primary School.
I have attended meetings with BNTF and the contractor on the site. We used to have like monthly meetings, and we had like every 2 weeks meetings and so on. To date, I spoke with Mr. Lee actually yesterday, and he said on Friday they should finish all the work on the building, and hopefully we will have a walkthrough sometime next week, please the Lord, which is with everybody, staff would get to see the finished product. And I think it's a wonderful building. It would be better than what we have here, because here we don't have playing facility. When we have to play on the side of the building, which is a road vehicle pass. And the space inside does not allow for the high scope, for we to teach high scope properly. Our school is a high scope school, and we need space to set up our centers, and we don't have adequate space for the different centers to be effective with the children.
Emma Strawn, who has been teaching at the Happy Hill Pre-Primary School for the past 21 years, said all the stakeholders need to be applauded, as there will now be ample room for teachers and students to coexist in the same building.
I think it's a good place. It was a good effort by BNTF to get it for us. We are happy with the location and site and the background and areas and so forth. So I think it's a good thing. Some of the challenges here that the spacing is not enough, and the children don't have enough space to play and run about and so forth. Whereas down there, it has space for playing, a big yard, and the school is much bigger, so we prefer down there.
Carleen Byam Williams is a teacher in charge of the Brizan Pre-Primary School for the past 11 years. The institution is home to 20 students. She says it has been a very good working relationship with the people in the community, and her team is elated to merge with the Happy Hill Pre-Primary School and move into a central location.
To be truthful, with regards to spacing inside of my classroom, I have a very spacious classroom. Yeah, with the children. But however, with regards to outside, it's limited on the outside for us. especially with regards to outdoor equipments. We can't keep it outside because the area is area used generally for anybody, so we can't leave anything outside. That's all.
A series of joint meetings were held with parents and officials of both institutions, along with the Ministry of Education and BNTF officials, to prepare them for the merging process. And with that story, we come to the end of the National Report for Thursday, January 14th, 2021. A recap of the top story: government invests in eye clinic upgrade at the General Hospital. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Sharian Noel, thanking you for viewing.